Hello, students. As promised, I wanted to go through a few tools and techniques that can make it a little bit easier to vibe code things and download that code to your computer where you might mess around with it and then upload it to another environment where you might be testing it or sharing it or just simply not hosting it with the people that you're using for your vibe coding utility. So the first thing I'm going to show you in this is what we would call an IDE, an integrated developer environment. Many of you have probably used things like this, like VS Code, or Jupyter Notebooks, or there's lots of them out there. Many of them are now AI embedded, like there are AI tools that can be looped into any of them. And those are helpful because they can be context specific. They can understand your code better. But I wanted to show you the one that I like to use, which is called IntelliJ, like Intelligent J by JetBrains. Go here and you can go download this. Now, I've already taken the liberty of downloading it. I'm sure you can figure out how to do a download. But here, this is what it looks like when you have it open. Let's go through, rather than me exploring this specific environment. This is one that I was working with yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and set one up that's new, how it would be when you were doing it on your own. We're gonna move this to the right desktop. Put this over here. And the other thing that we're gonna need, here we go. Okay, so here is a VO creation that I made yesterday. So this was, done through prompting over here, which is pretty cool. And actually, as an aside, I'll just quickly go back and show a little bit of my process for this. So this one, I'm working with an artist collective out here, and we need a website. We have lots of graphic designers and painters and all kinds of people that do different things. But I was given this Illustrator mockup as a concept for the app. And you can imagine this might be a Figma file or created in any number of different programs. It wouldn't have to be Illustrator. But this was really helpful for getting the vibe coding environment going. So I fed this to the vibe code environment. Up top here, we can see that I gave it text description and then that artboard, and it made an initial generation. And we can go back and look at what that looked like right here. So the first version was pretty far from what we actually wanted. You know, it wasn't really fully functional, and a lot of parts were missing. It didn't look the way I wanted it to. But I was able to eventually, 11 versions later, get it to look a lot like the mockup that I was given. But part of how I did that is what I wanted to note in here. So I give it the artboard, and then later I give it subsidiary files. So things like these PNGs, these like paper tear sections, this background up here. I gave it some graphics files to integrate in there. And that's important for generation, but there's also an issue with that in that you have to be careful when you're giving it images, how it stores those images can get a little tricky. And that's part of why I'm encouraging you to use an integrated developer environment, is it will help you keep track of all this stuff a little bit, and you can do some modifications. And we're getting a lot of failing to load content. I wonder what that's about. I can only X them out. So there's some sort of bug I need to fix here. This is just kind of how it goes. Anyway, so once I have linked this to GitHub, let's go over here. I should be able to, I have to actually click on it to get to GitHub. Here we go. So if I was going to use IntelliJ, I would install it. On your first screen, I think it would look something like, you probably get something like this, like when you first pop open the program. But what we're going to do is we go to GitHub, we go to code, and instead of downloading a zip like you've been doing in the past, where you have to like manually work with that code on your desktop, what you can instead do is you can copy right here. You can copy the source location, and we're going to use that in a minute. Did this one not? I guess I did not update the README. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to go. Oh, do you not? Oh, so sad. Please let me update this. There we go. I made a change to add a README, and I did not merge it in. So what I'm going through up here is like you might work in your development environment for a little while. And then once you're happy with your changes, you can go upload those changes. But what I'm hoping this will do is, here we go. This is what I wanted. Okay, so we now have a README, and it tells me things like, here are the requirements. So here's the Node.js that we're downloading. Here's how to run a local one. And then here's that build instructions. This is also kind of nice. It gave me a project structure here. So it's telling me everything that's in here and like what these things do, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so So what am I going to do with this? Well, first of all, I could, if I follow these instructions, this deployment, you can use a tool called Git, like a command line based tool, to sync the code from GitHub to your computer. That's fine. I like doing it through an integrated developer environment, an IDE like IntelliJ, because there's more things you can do with it than that. Like this would just keep your directory up to date with what's on GitHub, which is kind of funny. Of like you put it up from the Vibe code environment, you pull it down to your computer, you're kind of going back and forth like this. Just to a directory doesn't feel that worth it, but if it's to a program where you're going to modify it, that does feel a lot more worth it. So anyway, let's go back to where I was. Let's scroll up. So code, instead of downloading zip, I'm going to copy this location right here. And I go here and I can do new and I do project from version control. So GitHub is a kind of version control. And if I plop this in here, it will have a suggestion of what to call this thing, and this is fine. I think for me, you can see where it's putting it. You do want to keep track of your stuff. I've added this directory into my favorites and Explorer, but if I then clone it, what it should do is download all that code automatically from GitHub. And now I have the stuff that I could have had in a directory in the desktop. I have it all out here. And we have library and public and all these images and other things. And this one is similar to the ones that you guys have been doing in class. I think they have a different install technique, this PNMP, or I can never say it, PNPPM install. Well, we can probably just still do it the normal way over here. So let's find out. So now the development environment, instead of having to do like terminal or command console, we have that built in here, which is really nice. And this will be the same across Mac and Windows. So this is already one reason to use an environment like this. The environment, I guess I didn't explain what all's in here. So on the left, we have all our files, and it opens the README by default to tell you, here's what this thing is going on. Here's the preview of what the README looks like. But you can open up any number of different files in here, including next.config.js. Aha. A hint of what is to come in a second here. But you can also open up the console to be able to do commands like npm install. Okay, jumping forward into the future, just like you did in my demo or in class, you download the packages to set the thing up, and then we do a run build, and it builds it out. And here, right here, we have a little hint. I should have been pointing this out more directly to y'all. This is telling us that it tried to build it, but it didn't know where to put it. And that is where next.config.mjs shows up as a thing we care about. Over here on the left, you'll notice there's no out directory or dist directory. There's no output that was created. So hopefully you'll remember from class that I have created a little template for you guys here. We have, here we go, this template right here. This code is pretty much identical for any project that's created like this, and you can paste that in. And instead of folder, we'll call this, I don't know, TerribleWise TW-VO. And you do want to do both of these, TW-VO. Now, what are the differences in this little template? Well, one, it says output to a place. Actually exports some files for upload. And then down here, we're giving it the subdirectory name because you don't necessarily want to put it at the root level of where you're deploying this. You probably are going to have it under a subdirectory. So I changed this right here. I can save that file. Actually, it saves automatically. I don't have to do Control S. That's habit. And then I can go down to my command script area again here and just hit the up button and build it again. So this is kind of nice. Oh, hopefully it worked. So we got an output directory right here. Haha, look at that. Doo-doo-doo. So it created an output directory, and we are now part of the way, along the way, to uploading our files to cPanel. So this was hopefully a little bit easier than doing that download from GitHub and extract the code and then have to navigate around with the change directory commands and all that stuff. This saves you some of the issues there. And what's also really nice about this is that if we go back to VO here, let's say, actually you saw me doing it at the beginning of it. I added a README and it updated GitHub. So I might update GitHub from over here. Let's actually just do that as an example. What do I think is lacking in this README? Yeah, okay. So let's do this. Change the install instructions from PNPN to npm, please. So we'll do that, and hopefully this will do what we want. Okay, so we finished generating in VO, and again, this is the similar practice that you would do in like Google AI Studio or any of the others. I can open a pull request. You guys might remember these from Info 333, and that will hopefully update GitHub. And I can actually emerge it from over here. If it's something minimal like this, like you probably don't need a review process for updating a README. We can just say, yeah, go ahead and merge that thing into update GitHub. And hopefully after that's done, we'll be able to go back here. So you can see this guy. Yeah, it's the VO website. So 13 hours ago, this was last updated. Hopefully we're going to see an update in a second to the README file. Yeah, right. Oh, it's already done. There we go. README.md updated 2 minutes ago. Da, da, da. And over here it said, yeah, that's done. So that README has been updated. But over here on our local computer, it has not been updated yet. However, I can go to this drop down here for we're on the main branch. I can fetch, and hopefully this will do what I want it to do. Fetch successful. Update the project. Come on. Sometimes it takes a second. We'll try it this way. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. All right. So it says one file updated and 2 commits. So there are a couple of little updates that it did, and it updated the README file. And so now I've all those changes I just made, I can again build those into the current project. And this is also similar in the other direction, where if I want, I could be changing things here locally with my files. I might add images. I might go edit files within this. I can upload those back over to the VO project. So I can work like collaboratively or with a number of different programs. So you can kind of center all your code development in this console space like this, which is like more like what actual developers would do. So the next step after this is you obviously want to get this up onto cPanel. It's nice that that you've got this working environment, but it's still annoying to export a zip and then upload that zip. So there are better ways to do that too. It is potentially possible to integrate SSH into an environment like this. However, I'm going to show you guys an independent program on how to do that, just because you might be using a different IDE environment or you might not want to use one. I wanted to have this be modular in that way. Okay, so the next place that you can go ahead and look here is in the syllabus. I have this link here of methods for connections via SSH, and I should be able to open up this page, and we get a fairly scary page on the University of Illinois software documentation. If you're more advanced and want to go use PuTTY, go for it. But down here at the bottom, you'll notice they have graphical clients that are suggested: WinSCP, FileZilla, Cyberduck, etc. The process is kind of similar on each of these. I'll be going through Cyberduck in just a minute for the first time ever to figure out how it works on Mac. But WinSCP is free. You can go, we just type winscp.net and you can go download it. That's fairly straightforward. I know you'll be able to figure that out. Once you have WinSCP downloaded, it looks like this when you launch it. Actually, that's a lie. When you launch it, it will probably pop up with a, where do you want to go? What do you want to connect to? Prompt. And so we're going to do new site, and I'm going to set this to SFTP. You have a little bit of hint. You can already see that I've been doing this here. I'm going to steal my previous information, but we're going to web.illinois.edu, and in my case, my net ID is Ginger. So let's go to new site. Here we go. User ID Ginger, but we're not done yet. We have more steps to take with this. So over here, hopefully I'm still connected on VPN. Are we? Yes, we are. Good. So we're going to go ahead and do this creating importing keys process. And let's see if I can go to new tab, please. cPanel. Here we go. We're going to log into cPanel. I know, your favorite thing to do, but hopefully this will be one of the last times you have to log in here, or you will log in here fewer times after you've done this. So in cPanel, I should be able to go down here to, let's see, where, oh, did I just close that? No, it's right here. All right, going back and forth. SSH access, that's what it's called. So SSH, oh here, all right, I passed it. Here it is. So we go to SSH access, and there's this manage keys section. So in here, I have already made a key, but yes, there's a private key. This basically just walks you through what to do here. So they'll say SSH access, manage keys, import key, or well, we're not importing one, we're creating one. We're going to generate a new key. So I should be able to go up here and generate new key. Key name, I already have one called this. So let's call this info 490. And password, I'm going to delete this key after I make it. So my password's going to be really dumb. It's going to be 65. Wow, that's annoying. Password generator. Sure, let's yeah, okay, we're going to copy that to a safe place, which is my run prompt right there. All right, we're using that password. You're going to want a password you can remember probably. Because I'm just doing this as a demo, it doesn't matter that much. All right, so I generate a key and hopefully that will work. So here is our key generation that has happened. So here I have info 490 and I can view, download that, etc. I should be able to, if I view it, I can download it. However, but for let's see, I want to authorize it. Okay. And then I should be able to make it a PPK. Let's see if I can find that. Download keys. So you can download it like as a, I forget what the default format is, but we want a PPK for a lot of these programs. So let's see here. PPK, do I have? Yeah, there it is. Converting keys. We have to go to manage, view download, enter the passphrase, and then click convert. Okay, so let's go back. View download. Here it is. Okay, so this is the key. This is like your password thing to get in. And down here, there's a convert option. So I'm going to need this passphrase to convert it over. And I can now download a PPK. Da, 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 da. So I'm just going to stick that on my desktop. What I then do with that key is I'm going to plug it into WinSCP. So advanced here, and I should be able to go down to SSH and authentication under SSH. And we're here it says private key file. I can hit the little ... grab that key file and hit OK. All right, so let's see if this works. I'm now going to save this. We need to call this. We actually, oh yeah, right over here. Well, yeah, okay, that gives me a name. So we'll call this info 490 demo. All right, so now it's over here as a thing. If I hit login, we get to this continue prompt where it's going to ask for a password, and hopefully, let's see if that password looks like I'm hoping. Da, 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 da. All right, so what you're seeing over here on the right now, I think I showed this in class a couple of times, but this is like what you see on cPanel with that file manager. So public HTML, I got a bunch of directories, I can put things there. And then back with IntelliJ, so remember earlier I told you to remember where you save stuff. Idea projects, here we go, terrible website for VO. This is that address location. So I can copy that address location over in here, and I should be able to just double click on this over on the left side. And here's my local app that I've built. And I have an output directory. So if I wanted to upload these files, rather than uploading the zip and extracting the zip and renaming the folder and all that kind of stuff, especially having to do that every time I want to update the thing. And by the way, you are going to do most of your updates just internally with the vibe coding environment. And then if you're ready for testing or sharing or something, that's when you might upload it. Anyway, all this stuff, this was what the terrible wise thing. So here I'll do directory, TW for terrible wise, because I think that's what I said. Oh, TW-VO. Let's get that right. That's a problem I know a bunch of y'all were having where like it was named wrong. Rename TW-V0. Here we go. So I should be able to drag all this stuff over there. This is the first time I'm putting anything in there, but when you update it in the future, you can drag it over and it'll say, do you want to overwrite files? And actually here, I'll show that. Let's just drag over the 404 HTML. And it says this file's already here. You can do this yes and say newer only. So you can drag everything and then say newer only, and it's only going to update the stuff that was updated. In this case, nothing has been updated, but it's a more efficient way to upload stuff. And now I should be able to go to ginger.web.illinois and TW-V0. And look at that, we got a website. Now, some things are, the SVG is broken. I didn't put the SVG in there. Images. Oh, it does. Okay. Oh, I mean, let's see. I bet this is the SVG. Can I inspect? Yeah, look at this. All right, images, TW. Oh, it's broken. See that little like broken JPEG thing? So I should be able to click on this and let's see here. Does it not let me? I want to look at the image. Let me look at the image. Yeah, does it work if I do it here? Oh, that's annoying. All right, fine. I can like grab it out of here. So you might start troubleshooting like once you do an upload like this. So it thinks it's there. Oh, it is there. All right. So I don't know why that's not working. We'll just cut that part off. I think it's a reference problem with all the images. Copy image address. Where are you? You were definitely not there. Images dash artist 3. Ah, you can see it. This is the problem. All right. So this is a thing you guys might run into. It's missing the tw-v0 / the subdirectory location for all those image files. And so what I can do is tell it that. So if you want to fix your vibe coding thing to know, hey, where are my images stored? They're not showing up right. We can go back here, and in here I can say, when deploying my website, images aren't. When deploying the website, it is in a subdirectory. I've already fixed this in config.next.mjs. Please reference them in the directory. Actually, I'll just put it with a slash. I don't know. It'll probably know better. We'll say the subdirectory. And so that'll update it. And so now if you wanted to go through that whole process of like GitHub and update and everything, getting it back online, it would work with the images showing up in the right spot like they're supposed to. So anyway, that is something that this is an example of the process of how you can move files back and forth. It's hopefully a little bit easier to use these tools like WinSCP. I'm going to cut and show how you do it in Cyberduck now on Mac. Okay, here we are on the Mac side, and we're going to try and get Cyberduck all set up. Now, there are some things that are in common here. So we have our IntelliJ is available on Mac. This is a brand new setup over here. Okay, so this is going to look a lot like what it will for you guys. So this is what you get for the first time. And over here, I did want to note that I was using a chat that I had already used to push to main. And when you do that, when you continue using those chats, you have to do a pull request every time you want to update to GitHub. When you do a new branch on one of these, it'll just constantly update to GitHub every time you make a change. So you won't have to do that open PR thing that I was doing. I was just resurrecting a previous chat. So hopefully, though, we have a problem. I'll ask it to fix the problem. I was going to continue with fixing that image thing. We could just maybe do that on the Mac instead of on Windows. So let's go ahead and get started on install Cyberduck. Okay, we want Cyberduck for macOS. I don't see any options within here. Sometimes on these, they'll have Intel Mac versus Silicon Mac. If your MacBook is, or iMac or whatever you have, if your Mac is newer, like 2020 and up, 2021 or newer, it will almost certainly be Apple Silicon. If you have an older Mac, it might be Intel. I'm not going to do any tutorials for Intel stuff. I did not mean to make that folder there. Cyberduck, where are you? There you are. All right, so I dragged that to applications. Let's go ahead and launch this bad boy. Yes, it's fine. I hate Apple's always so scared of everything. Actually, here, this is a total aside. I'm doing a lot of these on the videos today. If you're really mad, run apps from everywhere. Mac OS. I get ticked off about this all the time because they're all on this like campaign against open source. Like, everything has to come from the Apple Store, made by them, so they can make money. And like, screw you guys. I want to run what I want to run on my computer. Anyway, I can go to terminal here. Let's see. Terminal. And run this command. Okay, and I should be able to now go to settings, privacy, and I gotta type, I don't know what it is, privacy, yes, this. Down at the bottom, allow applications from anywhere. Apple can frickin' stop being a paranoid control freak with my computer. Yes, I wanna let me choose, not you choose. All right. You'll notice Jeff has some strong opinions about design. All right, what were we doing here? We were downloading Cyberduck. We were going to get that set up here. All right, so we have Cyberduck. Oh, I need to transfer some stuff over. Let's go ahead and get that PPK and the info, the key phrase over to this computer. I'm just going to stick those on Google Drive because those are from my Windows computer. It's the same process on Mac to download those. I'm just sticking those on the desktop. use. Am I still transferring it? That's so sad. Or do you just not like PPKs? Copy, paste. Okay, you were still transferring. That's fine. Okay, so I'm probably going to use those. So in Cyberduck, we want a new connection. So I'm going to make that. And then our server, hopefully, is web. I think it's web.illinois, right? Let me double check. Make sure I'm not a crazy person. Yes, web.illinois.edu. And we want SSH. We don't want FTP. SFTP. Here we go. SSH web.illinois.edu. Username is going to be my net ID just like before. Password, it's probably not going to remember this, but I can be helpful. Here's that terrible password I used earlier that, again, this is a demo. You guys are not going to be able to get into my stuff after this because I'm going to delete it. And then SSH private key right here, we can choose. Let's hope it likes PPKs. Let's find out. Okay, moment of truth. DNS. Oh, well, you have to spell Illinois right. Yeah, okay, hold on. I should put money down on, yeah, it's going to ask for the password again. That's what it always does on any platform. They're just extra secure. Look at that. All right. That was actually easier on Mac, I think, than it was on Windows. So public HTML, same directory right there. And just we can kind of rehearse this on Mac if you like wanted to see what it looks like. So if you're like, how do I get to get up from this? And you don't want to open a new PR, you should be able to, see if I can click on this. View on GitHub right here. Doot. And that brings me to GitHub. And now you'll notice that this is a branch. So this is one commit. I had a main. I can actually go here if I want and like merge that back in. Alternatively, you don't even have to do a full merge. If you're still like playing with this thing, leave it as just a branch that you're working with. You can copy that location to clipboard. Okay, here we go. Clone repository. That's what I really wanted to do. All right, and Terrible Wise website VO. Why are we mad? Git not installed. Oh, okay. This is a great learning. It's not the wrong name. This computer, I recently had to reinstall macOS. So you'll notice it's telling me right here what's going on. So this is a great example of like, you can go to Gemini and be like, new macOS install, how to install Git, which is what you would use if you didn't want to use like IntelliJ or something. You can use the command line Git. There we go. Real easy. Get -- version. Actually, I don't even think you. Oh, that's checking the version. It should be this. Oh, but yeah, okay. I would this makes sense. Method 2 of installing Homebrew. I use this stuff all the time. I think that's a good move. Gotta know your password to do it. I sure hope you do. So it's doing that thing, and then we're gonna install Git through brew. There's like 1,000 of these things. My little tangent while we're waiting on this. There's all this stuff that developers use, and they have like sexy, funny, weird names. And in the industry, they talk about them like, oh yeah, you got to get Git, or you got to get Cask, or you got to get blah, blah, blah. And like, if you don't know what the hell these people are talking about, that's on them. Don't feel bad if you don't know what people are referring to. One, you can ask like ChatGPT or whatever, it'll tell you. But two, like some people should learn how to put these in frames and terms that don't make it seem like, oh, everybody knows what Git is. Like, no, everybody does not, and we should not assume. And these things are often not very friendly, and it's okay to ask questions. And so I get really annoyed when there's sort of this elitism among developers and designers when they talk about something as if it is known by everyone with their inside culture. And we are back. Okay, so brew has been installed. Also note at the end of brew, it gives you, where is it? Here we go, next steps. So don't miss this here. It says, hey, for next steps, you got to add it to the path. The path is something you'll hear about a lot in both Windows and Mac. It's like when you're typing command lines, if stuff is recognized or not. Like it's almost like when you open a file and the computer knows how to open that file type. It's kind of the same thing of like, do these commands work? So you do have to do these 3 little steps there. And then I did a brew install of Git. And now if we go back here, we know that scary red message is gone, and I can clone this repository. Ta-da. All that stuff, I was trying to show how you can go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and ask. And like that is a perfectly valid way to do it. A lot of these things I just kind of know because I've been doing them for a while. And so when I make instructions for you guys, I forget like, oh, they may not know this. All right, so we get to log in via GitHub. Here we go. You gonna work? Okay, I was already logged into GitHub.
here to get to all this. Go back. Oh, I want to trust the project. Let me see it. Trust all projects in the IDEA projects folder. Ta-da! Oh, no, we don't. You guys as students have a year of, or some free version of this. If I log in, I think I can get it. No, how do I log in? Somewhere up here, there's like a way to log in. Let's go. No, that's the other thing. I don't know. I'll let you guys figure that out. But you can log into IntelliJ with like a student account and get a free student version of this thing, which is pretty cool. So I will eventually set that up, but it's not important right now. Oh, this is kind of fun. Look at this. So when you run this first time on Mac, maybe this is an advantage of PNPM, the hardest acronym to say ever. It's like, hey, do you want to run the dependencies? And yeah, sure. That sounds great, dude. Error running. Okay, well, you know what? I bet I don't have Node.js on this computer. Let's find out. npm install. Oh, maybe I do. Well, it was nice of it to try to do it, even if it didn't work. All right, so you guys can probably figure it out from here. So other things that will matter for this, like, all right, how does Cyberduck here get to your files? Because this is the remote area, right? But like we want to be dragging things into the remote directory. Like if I wanted to update right here, for instance, let's do npm run build. Okay, so we're going to have an output directory, or so I hope. No. Oh, do we not have, this one's not configured. I did it and I didn't upload it because I'm a dingus. It's just it's in the syllabus. It's the template that I did earlier in this video. So same drill, you copy it into next.config.mjs. I then did a build again. So I should have an updated version that is in this out directory, and I can right click here in this, and I should be able to, actually something I didn't do before, I could have pushed this back. So, and actually let's do it through this interface here. You can, when changes are made locally, you can then push them back through GitHub. So this file is the one that I changed. I'm going to say changed location for subdirectory. Commit and push, and what that should do, oh gosh, is make me log in for the 70 millionth time. Are you gonna let me do it? Ooh, you might. Yay! Okay, so that pushes that back up to GitHub. So that thing I fixed locally, now we've put it up online. So that's kind of nice. All right. Anyway, going back to here. What I actually wanted to do a second ago here is open in. Come on. Here we go. Finder. Ba-ba-da. So if you're like, where is this on my computer? It's right here. And I'm going to do myself a favor. Go up one level, go up a second level, and we're going to put IDEA projects. This is really just under the home directory, but I'm going to put it under favorites because I want to get to it a lot. And then this is the only project in here because this computer has just been reset up. But here's all these files. And let's find out in Cyberduck. This is going to be a fun little test. I don't know the answer to this. Is it going to be an option to overwrite only the new change things? So we're going to put this here. All right, so what do we get? Unknown fingerprint. I'm going to always allow that. Oh, maybe there's probably some way with Cyberduck to tell it to only do newest. Oh, here we go. Is overwrite, compare. So you could probably do it through a compare. I'm just going to overwrite. I don't care that much. If you start like getting a lot of stuff on your site, it's really nice to just overwrite the things that have changed. This thing is like what, 3 megabytes total? What do you mean incomplete? My guess is that there was a file in here that is open that it doesn't want to put up there. It doesn't like this. Yes, that actually looks like next. Well, I'm not totally sure what that file is, but I'm not super worried about it. That doesn't look like a very important file. These giant underscores on it make me think that is a temporary file in temporary memory, and so I'm not going to worry about it. But let's see if I fixed anything. You guys want to bet? Where is the? Where am I running this? This is on. Oh, because did I open it here? I did not. All right, well, we'll try it here. ginger.web.illinois.edu/terriblewise TWV0 Oh my God, look at that. I actually fixed something. Oh, all right. So the images work now because they're in the right spot because I did that update earlier and then I updated it locally. So there you go. You get a lot of the life cycle of updating a production app. This is a little bit ahead of where a lot of you guys are going to be in the current moment of the semester because you're going to spend all your time in that vibe code area section. But it is good to like test periodically to make sure things are going to work online because you run into stuff like the problems like the images not showing up. And I'll show you one other one. This is, I swear, the last of my long and whining video here. Let's go. Can I see all my things? Projects, repositories. Here we go. This one, I built this with Google AI Studio literally yesterday. And yeah, you don't say down there. Anyway, this is different. So this was built with VITE or VITE, or I don't know how you say it. Google AI Studio might default to different things. Lots of these programs may do different things. So when I built the app, I noticed that, oh, there's no next.config file. What do? How do I tell it what subdirectory? It was just uploading a blank page. Well, in this case, I go to the vite.config.ts. And then here is where we actually put our environmental variable for where it is stored. I don't think I actually uploaded that. How awkward. I don't think that was uploaded onto GitHub, but it's actually here. We can just ask Gemini. Here we go. I'm going to look at this. This is an example of how I figured out how to do it. It's going to be like, you asked me this yesterday. Do you remember anything? How to set subdirectory in this vite.config file. So without the base property, it doesn't know how to do things. So here we go. It's saying JavaScript, and here you got to put this base subdirectory route. And I can actually just say rewrite my file to make the subdirectory tw Google AI. And there we go. It did it for me. So, and all it is this, I think. Let's look back at this. Constant. Maybe it added a little bit more there. But you'll notice I gave it full text of my whole file. And I should be able to just copy this. And you can even edit it on GitHub too. That's another thing if you guys didn't know about. I would probably edit it in the IDE rather than online because like sort of keep your editing to two places. You probably don't need to add a third. So, all right, that is my long tutorial video.